right everywhere now, can you?
No, that's very true. That's the joy of being married to a weather girl, you know.
Absolutely.
Because they only
You
get
never know whether it's sun coming up or whether it's foggy or whether it's going to be raining all day.
No, it's the only time where you can challenge your wife for getting it wrong.
No. There is one saying. When your wife says, "Correct me if I'm wrong, for whatever you do, don't reply it."
No.
Don't reply to it.
No, it's too dangerous. It's far too dangerous.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's just, before we get going now, I just want to say hello to a few of the listeners who have bothered to join us, so they get my absolute respect. Hello to Steve in the UK and Michael in the UK as well. Scrooge, who's up there in Sweden, in Scandinavia. Art is in Germany. Axel's in the US of A. I don't know where Carl is. Carl is in Switzerland. Hello, mate. Thank you for joining us. Spares and Repairs are in GP. Hope that means a garage. Binop is in Hong Kong. Nice to have you with us all the way from Hong Kong. Must be nearly lunchtime there. Santiago, where are you? In Belize. Oh, that's a nice little place. Hugh's here, bless him, from the US. Hello, mate. Eva. Where are you, Eva? You're in Greece. And Eva says, nice music. Oh, thank you very much. That'll do for me. Good evening, everyone. Especially Jan, says Axel from the USA. And ask her if there's a hurricane on the way. What, you are? Don't be silly. That's just bonkers. Michael's beating the script and says, congratulations to Jan on receiving the Alexander Dubcek Award. Aha! That kind of beat me to it because, Jan, a lot of people, with respect to Mr. Dubcek, won't know who Alexander Dubcek is. Can you fill in the gaps for me?
Well, Alexander Dubcek was a man, probably the greatest Slovak in the second part of the 20th century. And how did he become famous? He became famous because he was the first man who in 1968 invented the phrase that socialism or politics must have a human face.
Yes.
Up till now, Czechoslovakia was under total control of Soviet Union. The dictator, there were diktats from Moscow, and the people were totally oppressed. And he says, we can't live like this. And he starts making reforms where people could start small businesses, which was unheard of under communism, as it would be probably unheard of in China or Korea today. Mm-hmm. And he began to reform, and he says, we need to combine the good thing from socialism and the good things from capitalism. In other words, people have to not be afraid to say what they think. They must be able to start small businesses, and there must be a space for people to express their desire to prosper in life. And of course, his politics are now, every politician today wants to have a human face. Mm-hmm. Every politician today actually follows Alexander Dubcek, what he started in 1968. I come from Prague, and it was known as the Prague Spring. We had demonstration, we had fantastic all changes, there was a great hope. There was only one problem. The Russians couldn't allow it to happen, because if it did happen, all the communist countries would fall apart. And therefore, in 1968, 21st of August, there was invasion of all Poland, Germany, Hungary, Bulgaria, Russia, Ukraine, all invaded Czechoslovakia. Within 24 hours, 1 million soldiers came. Mm-hmm. And Alexander Dubcek knew if he would sponsor resistant, there would have been hundreds of thousands of people dead within 24 hours. So he preached a passive resistance because he knew the Russians. He was educated in Russia. He was a stand Russian supporter. And then what happened is the occupation became permanent, and it lasted 20 years before the Russian soldiers or the Allied soldiers were left Czechoslovakia. And was he European? He was 100% European.
All right.
Was he a socialist? He was 100% socialist. Was he for peace? Absolutely. Was he for making agreement about peace? Absolutely. Does it sound familiar?
Does
it remind you what's happening today all over the world? The whole world is doing what he invented 57 years ago.
Gosh.
Now, why did I got his highest award?
Hold on.
Dubcek? Only 3 people got it.
What is the award?
One was,
explain the award to me.
The award is the highest award of the state given by the Prime Minister and initiated by the leader of the parliament. And the award is by sponsoring or helping Slovaks or doing business in Slovak, which follows the spirit. So I run hotel, I sponsor social event, I support sport, I do statues for the church, I help the church. So all that spirit which is enclosed in my work then is awarded by the spirit of Alexander Dubcek. And of course, in 1988, he said, the famous, in Bologna, when they awarded him a doctorate, he said that the world must strive to be without weapons, without fights, and without conflicts. And of course, what do we have today? The whole world, that's exactly what it's trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Stop the wars, stop the manufacturing of the weapons, and make sure that people get on, and then the politics have a human face. And of course, his demise came in 1969. When they invaded it, they took him away. And that's why my life begins in England. I leave Czech Republic in August, exactly a year after the invasion. I start as a homeless. Alexander Dubcek becomes, from the Prime Minister, ambassador in Turkey. Within 6 months, they take him out of the Communist Party. Within 8 months, he is nobody. He's working in a car park, dishing out tickets. Then he becomes a languager. So I actually copied his life. I start as a homeless person. My first job was in a truck, in a car factory. I changed job. I started absolutely from the bottom. And each time I felt like being depressed, I says, what are you complaining? Look at Dubcek. He's had it all, and he lost it all. And therefore, the spirit of, and his motto was, have clearly defined objective, make the impossible possible without making any excuses. And then there comes the Velvet Revolution, 1989. I mean, I even copy his biggest friend was Josef Smerkovsky. When he died, they kept secret his funeral and only told him when he was buried. In 1989, in 30th of May, my father died, and the communists even wouldn't allow me to go to his funeral. But then, in 26th of December, after Velvet Revolution, Václav Havel on Prague Castle says, I will not accept the presidency unless I will have Alexander Dubcek, the greatest Slovak, standing on my side, and the rest is a history.
Yeah.
He becomes the leader of National Assembly, and 15 days later, I'm allowed to return to my home country on the 15th of January, 1990, which is 20 years, 4 months, and 20 days of exile. So not only I received the highest award, I lived it.
Yeah.
I lived it with Alexander Dubcek.
We got some breaking news in, Jan. Angela Rayner has resigned as Deputy PM of the government in the UK, and sadly, the Duchess of Kent has passed away, which is quite sad.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
she was
I know.
a great lady.
And Steve has just written, I want to listen to an audio book that Jan narrates about his life.
Well, they are making a film about me.
Yeah.
And they are writing a book, and it's called Making the Impossible Possible.
That's right, and hello to Mitchell. Now, you came into Bratislava earlier in the week, and you went to the Presidential Palace, which is a lovely building, and the Prime Minister then introduces you for an award. What happened?
Yes. Well, what happens is then that they read all the things I have done for Slovakia, and one of them was starting RTI. Because, so if you like, RTI also played a role of me receiving the award.
Well, I'm pleased about that. You deserve it. Why not?
Yeah, there you go.
You've had to put up with me for 20-odd years.
Well, no, that's why I got the award, Eric, because I was able to last 20 years.
We've been asked if...
It was an award for endurance.
Yes, exactly. We've been asked, is there any ideas of the release date of the film? And Eric, remind us when it's released. We'll do that. We'll talk to Jan and get the dates for you, and we'll share them on the radio.
I also have had a film about me, about František Suchý. And I'm building a statue, huge statue in bronze, in Madrid, for this man who, in 1944, the top Basque leaders were arrested by the Germans, which were part of the French resistance, took to Prague. They were all shot, and František Suchý was the director of a crematorium. And they told him, burn the bodies and throw the ashes into the river. He burned them individually, put them in urns and named them. Then the communists came in 1948 and gave him 300 bodies. Burn them, throw them in the river. We each individually named them. So when they discovered it, they imprisoned him for 20 years. And we are building, we're having a statue where he's got to spread hands, and above him are the busts of all the people of the Basques he saved. And at my request, it'll be by bridge, by the river in Madrid. And because I come from Prague, I asked the Spanish government to name it the Prague Bridge. And that's what they did. And it'll be unveiled next May, end of next May, by the president of Czech Republic. And I've heard rumors that the Basques want to name me as the honorary citizen of Barcelona.
Oh, right. If we've got links to news articles about this, can you post the links to the radio page?
No, the links will. There is a film called The Ash.
Right.
There's a film, the premiere was 2 months ago in Prague, and that's about the story of František Suchý, about a man who kept identity of people which the world wanted to forget about.
Yeah, I think what Steve's asking for is links to everything that you're talking about, if they're in news articles, to go on the radio
I'll
page.
Sort that out,
Okay, there we go. Okay, so you arrive in the Presidential Palace. They give you an award.
Yes, I go through a very high security.
Yeah.
Then then a prime minister has a speech, because it was on the anniversary of the Slovak Constitution.
Yes.
Exactly 33 years ago, on that day, 1st of September, was the independence of the Slovak Republic and the launch of their constitution. So it was, if you like, Christ year's anniversary, and because the constitution contains most of the ideas of Alexander Dubcek, it was also appropriate to give us the prize. There were 3 candidates. One was the most famous writer in Europe and the world, Mr. Banaš. The second one was the lawyer who did create all the legislation for Slovak Republic in the past 33 years.
Wow.
And then it was me.
That's a lot of work, isn't it?
There you go.
It's a lot of work. And so you were equal to these other 2 guys. What happens then?
Well, I felt that the other 2 guys were much more equal than me. But it was a great feeling that people appreciate all the work, which, by the way, Eric, you played a great role. I mean, I know you don't say it, but I have to say it.
No.
Because most of my actions, like statues and sports and things, you were always there. So I thank you for helping me to receive the award.
No, you're very... Listen, you're the one that doesn't talk about yourself at all, and I have to do it because you won't. So I'm very pleased you've got this, what is the highest civil award in Slovakia.
Also, it carries the price, 25 times the average wage of Slovakia. So I received in my account 38,000 euros.
Wow, that's
which
cool.
I'm going to share with my employees in my hotels.
Good.
I'm going to buy a car, Skoda, which they can raffle, and the rest of the money I divided. So I will not keep a penny. I give it to the people. I share it with the people who help me to build all the bits and pieces in Slovakia. So I'm not going to spend it. I'm going to give it away.
Good. Well, Axel says that's a nice thing to do. Yeah, this is a nice one. I hope Jan gets a UK award soon. Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah, I've been nominated. Hopefully it'll come through.
Yeah. But you've already got a huge award in there for...
Well, I have the award which has been given to the giants of the industries, like the chairman of BP, Ratan Tata of Range Rover and Jaguar, which is now in trouble, all the top CEO, and amongst them the most famous Czech, which was Mr. Baťa, who received it in 2006. I received the Lord Dahrendorf Prize for responsible capitalism, together with John Simpson, the one who has employs the convicts which are in prison and employs them.
Yeah, that's nice. That is a nice project, that. And you're again being asked, novel, please. Prizes can go out afterwards. They've been asking you to write a novel. That'd be
they're already writing it.
Yeah, you need a ghostwriter.
You know, as a Confucius, the Analects of Confucius, he refused to write the Analects. He says, if I write it, it'll be biased. So each Analect of Confucius starts, the master has said, which means it was written by his pupil. But he hasn't written a single chapter. So I prefer somebody else to write about me rather than writing myself about me. You know what I mean?
I do indeed, because I hate those things. Keith just says, many congratulations on receiving your award, Jan. And so the Prime Minister talks about you, then what happens?
Yeah, then what happens is they sing the national hymn of Slovakia, Na Tatrou sa blízka. Then we are all called, first they read all the good things each candidate has done, and then you come up, the Prime Minister gives you the award, gives you the medal, gives you the certificate, and congratulates you and thank you for all the work you've done. Then you sit down, then there is a chamber orchestra playing Mozart, and then you've got more singing, and then they close it, and then you have a refreshments.
And by the way, if you search Jan Telensky, Telensky, and you can see it on the radio page now, there are images of Jan and his wife at the presidential palace. There's also a picture of Jan and the other three recipients with the Prime Minister and the medal and certificate itself. So you can go over to the RTI radio page on Facebook or just search Jan Telensky and those pictures will come up and you can have a look for yourself. I love my audience, Jan, but not this one. Don't get Eric to do it, your novel, as it will take him 100 years to write it.
No, it would take 100 years for Eric to talk about writing it. That's the problem.
And the answer to this is Steve, but Steve is yes, but I'll let Jan tell the story because it is a good story. Did you ever meet the Queen?
I met the Queen 3 times, and that was one of the things they mentioned that I did. I negotiated her visit to Slovakia 3 years. And then she came to Aqua City, and I managed to persuade her to throw a bully to my ice hockey team, HK Poprad, and we played against the champion of England in ice hockey, which was then Guildford Flames.
Yes, that's right.
So I can say that the Queen threw a bully to my team, and I'm very pleased to tell you that we won 4-2 the match, and it was great. I spent whole day with Prince Philip, who was a great man, and I never forget. He was then 86, and I'm in the lift, and I learned all the protocol, except I didn't know who gets out of the lift first. And he reads my mind, and this is what Prince Philip says when the door opens in the lift. You are at home. You go first.
Oh, that's
and I never
lovely.
Brilliant man.
Actually, there is another funny story to that, because Jan also got me involved in the ice hockey stadium, and I was the English Master of Ceremonies. Now, before that happens, it all has to be approved by the ambassador and, of course, Buckingham Palace. So I'm sitting there minding my own business. The phone goes and it says, number unavailable. So I answer it and they go, this is Buckingham Palace. And I'm about to say, yeah, right. But this woman had a very posh voice. So I said, hello, what can I do for you? She said, that Mr. Wiltshire? Yes. So we then had I had a conversation with Buckingham Palace because of you.
There you go.
That was nice.
And she knew all about my life, starting homeless, because I was the biggest English investor in tourism.
Yeah.
I had 5 hotels and built a football stadium which was heated by geothermal waters and so on. Mm-hmm. And she knew everything. And I must say, during the ceremony in the church,
yeah, she
took the glove off when she shook the hand of the priest. And she also took the glove off when she shook my hand. So I'm one of the few people who had a gloveless hand, the real hand of the Queen. Amazing person. I've never felt anything like with anybody like when I shook the hand of the Queen. She was a remarkable person.
Can I drag you back a bit? Because a lot of people, yeah, you're quite right, Axel. I bet that was a good feeling. You touched on it earlier, but we have lots of new listeners who don't know everything about you. And you said you got to England homeless. I'd like you to share the story, if you don't mind, about where you stayed in the beginning and what happened after that.
Well, I had a friend. I stayed in Oxford for a week, and he had a friend in Dunstable. And he said, I found you a job on the track in Vauxhall. So the bus was late. When I arrived, I went to the address. The landlady said, sorry, the gentleman left for holiday. He'll be back in 10 days. And I had £7 and very limited knowledge of English language. Mm-hmm. So I say, what do I do? So I go and I see the cemetery. I had a suitcase and a violin. I play violin. Mm-hmm. So I hid it under a tree, which was like a Christmas tree, and under the branches so you couldn't see it. Mm-hmm. And then I went looking for accommodation. And then I found a Grange Hotel. It was like a 2-star accommodation, bed and breakfast. And it was £1 guinea a night. And I said, 10 nights. And I have £7. 1 guinea was £1 1 shilling then. So I said, I have nowhere to. So I came back for my luggage. And then I said, my mother gave me a sleeping bag. And I said to my mother, I'm going one of the richest countries in the world. Why the hell will I need a sleeping bag? So the tree was like a tent. And it was in the cemetery. And people would say, why did you choose cemetery? I said, well, it had a very quiet neighbors. It was the dead center of the town, and everybody was dying to get there. So I was interrupted for 10 days, and I had lived on bread, milk, a few bits and bobs, and I survived on £4 for 10 days until my friend returned, got me a job, and the rest. So I know what it is to be homeless. And the law down of price of responsible capitalism is because I build lots of flats which will allow people to buy it by paying their rent. So I agree the price on a flat. For 3 years I collect their rent, keep it in an escrow account, and then deduct it from the price and they use the rent as a deposit to get the mortgage. And when they get the mortgage, their repayments is less than the rent. I wish the government introduced it, because tomorrow they would reduce the homeless list. So that was one of the main reasons I got the law down to, and I still do it today. I must have sold over 1,000 flats to people who could otherwise never be able to afford to buy a flat.
I remember that lovely lady who works for the NHS.
Yeah, she was crying when she moved in the flat.
Yeah,
She cried. She spent £40,000 in rents and got nowhere. By the way, each Christmas she sends me a card. She still lives in the flat, and she's got her daughter living with her now. And there's a whole video. And when she said that she paid 40,000 in rents, and now her rent is used as a deposit, the poor thing burst in tears. That really touched my heart.
Yeah, I want to touch on a couple of other things that, and I hope you don't mind me stealing your hour. One of the other things that's not known very well is a few years ago, ladies and gentlemen, I had a conversation with a lord, that's right, a lord and a politician about issues that Jan was working on, where, get this, social services in the UK who had no idea what they were doing, and no idea that in Slovakia it's commonplace for children to sleep in the same room as parents, were trying to take these children away and get them adopted. And I said, I'm not playing that game. So I got Jan involved. What happened next, Jan?
They were adopted. They were called the Boers children.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the highest court in the Strand in London.
Mm-hmm.
And I hired the best lawyer, Stephen Bellamy, and it cost me £160,000. And within 2 weeks, they were with their mother, and they were in Slovakia.
Yeah, but
so they were already adopted. They lost the case, but we went to the Court of Appeal. They realized it was a nonsense, and I saved the children. I've saved many other children which were trying to be separated from their parents. I'm still involved in 1 or 2 cases at the moment.
Yeah. Steve wants to know, what was your first big break in England?
The first my break in England is when I started a shop called Europa Delicatessen, and I made lots of money there.
In Hightown in Luton.
I bought houses and lived off the rent.
Yeah, hang on a minute. Whoa. That was in Hightown in Luton.
No, it was in Berry Park, Luton.
Sorry, Berry Park, Luton. I got it wrong. And the irony was, I remember delivering stuff to that shop because Jan used to sell vending machine packets of cigarettes in the shop to bring the price down for everybody.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
I sold cheeses which you couldn't buy anywhere in England. I used to sell salamis and all sorts of things, and people would come from London to do the shopping because they wanted something they couldn't buy anywhere else.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Italians, the Poles, the Czechs, the Slovaks, all that. So I had a special shop which only sold a very specific type of goods.
But to get there, when you were working in the car plant, prior to that, you started an even smaller business making sandwiches.
Yeah, and that's how I grew up. I also worked in a dispatch security office in Courtline at Luton Airport. I worked in can factory, which was making caps for bras and things. And I had about 9 jobs before I realized what I was good at. And since then, I've never looked back.
Well, someone's just summed you up, actually. A very good person that has a heart. That's very true. He does.
Yeah. You see, that's what it's called. A responsible capitalism. When you see, St. Giles says, what I had, I lost. What I saved, I spent. But what I give, I cannot spend a gift. Neither can I lose it. And that's what's missing in society. In society, what's missing is that everybody who makes a lot should share it. And he should think about how to narrow the gap between the ones who have and the ones who haven't. But you can only do it if you know to be homeless.
Yeah.
If you are born as a son to a rich family, you'll never get it.
No,
You need to build it from the bottom.
Yeah, or as the Beatles...
As it says, it is much easier for a prince to become a king. It is much more difficult for a beggar to become a king. And that's what it's all about.
And what did the Beatles sing? Money can't buy me love.
No, they can't buy you love.
No.
And my biggest fear is that one day I wake up and think I'm better than the others because I have plenty of money. That's my biggest fear. Because then you are lost, then you're gone, you're finished.
That's not going to happen. I can tell everybody that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you know, each anniversary, on the 26th of August, I go to that tree. I send you a picture of it.
Yeah.
I go to that tree and I stand underneath it for about half an hour thinking about my journey. And by the way, the Grange Hotel became a wreck. And I bought it, converted it to 6 flats. And because I had £3 left, I still own flat number 3, gave it to my son, and I said, the conversion cost me £1 million. And I said to my son, you keep the flat until I'm dead, to remind yourself that once your father couldn't afford £1 a night, and then he could spend $1 million for you to make sure you have a good life. It's a good story.
Yeah,
because remember, we did a film about it when we were converted with the apprentices.
Yes.
And you found the shilling note under the tree.
Yes.
Remember that?
I do indeed. And you looked, said, what are you on about? I said, look, what's shining under the tree.
That's it. It was an old shilling.
Yeah, an old shilling, not a new 5 pence.
Yeah,
it was
an old
was
one.
really weird. So I know what you're doing now.
Remember, we were there with Tommy Walsh.
Yes, we were. Lovely man. Absolutely lovely man. Now, Ian's now, he's saying, afternoon, Eric and Jan. Thanks, Ian. I know what you're doing, but you've now got another project going, which is just phenomenal. And you helped people to develop this product by putting loads of money in it. And now you're doing something incredibly good with it. Tell us about this new project.
Which project? I've got several projects. Which one have you got in mind? Robots?
Robots, yeah.
Yeah, because the world is changing and people cannot do manual work. Also, cement produces 8% of CO2. It's worse than cars, manufacturing of cement. Mm-hmm. England now cannot build 1.5 million homes because there is lack of cement. One house needs about 2 or 3 tons of cement. So I have done a project when I built robots, which is one robot is 10 bricklayers and 5 manuals to help them, builds a house in a day and uses a dry fix, no cement, no water, no scaffolding. So it's 100% green. It uses special bricks which got an insulation inside so the heat doesn't come out, the cold doesn't come in. I use solar roofs which are integrated. Just built 7 houses in Durham. I built 7 detached houses in 4 days.
But this has got a special glue with it, hasn't it?
With two men. Now I'm having a big project. We build railway stations. We're building in Czech Republic. I'm building 27 nurseries. One nursery, complete nursery, takes 4 days. Wow. And that's the future. The future will be buildings by robots.
Yeah.
Because the average age in England of a bricklayer is 40 years, which means in 20 years they will die out.
Yeah.
And the bricklayers now charge enormous amount of money because you can't get them. And they always fight with the scaffolders. So at the end, you have no scaffolders, no bricklayers, and all my operators work 10-hour shifts. They're more than bricklayers because obviously they produce much more. And it's all the robots got all the plans, everything. It moves by itself. it builds it, and everything else.
They don't get,
so
and the good
that
thing is
that, so my idea is, because I started as a homeless, to allow more and more people to live in accommodation they can afford.
yeah, and the good thing is the robots don't get sick.
No, and they don't complain, and they don't go on strike.
We've got a question for both of us, and I'll let Jan answer it, because the answer to the question is yes, I have. Have you ever had problems getting around daft laws or bureaucrats?
Well, you see, once you call it a problem, then you have a problem.
Yeah.
Remember, my motto is make the impossible possible without any excuses. So, you see, people don't understand strategy. Strategy is to have end goal and then go to achieve it. It's not changing it every day. It's not. Bureaucrats, we have to live with it. But what I do with bureaucrats is I don't ask them I don't try to persuade. I show them the damage they are causing by being bureaucrats.
Yep.
And it usually works.
So they just...
I say, accept what you are saying, but you realize you're depriving people because, you know, the biggest problem in England is now planning.
Yeah.
And the health and safety has just gone totally crazy.
Yeah.
But I overcome it, because by building robots with the bricks, I don't have a fire problem, I don't have a regulation problem, it's 100% green. And the building will last 5 generations. It'll last 200-300 years.
Yeah. Well, I think we've all... The way Jan and I both approach what you're calling problems, they're not problems, they're challenges.
And solutions. Every problem has a solution.
Yeah, you just got to find it. And RTI is a perfect example where some people didn't like us because we were achieving lots of things for Slovakia. And we found a way round the problem, we fixed the problem, and we're here today, 20 years on. So yeah, we've had a few issues, and we've got through them. Sounds like another comment. It sounds like there aren't enough hours in the day for Jan to do everything he wants to do. He doesn't sleep.
I only sleep about 5 hours a day, and because I'm 77. I have to work harder and harder every day because there's not much time left. So I take the different approach. People say, when are you going to retire? And I say, retirement is a state of mind.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Nothing to do with age.
No, and I tell you what, boys and girls, Jan, and I don't know if Jan remembers this, we were having a conversation in my car, driving to an ice hockey match in a town called Žilina. And I was having a conversation. And the next thing is, Jan's head is slumped forward. I'm thinking he's had a heart attack. No, he had a 2-minute power nap. And then I carried on with the conversation. Do you remember?
Yeah, I can work 12 hours, then I've had 20 minutes power nap, and I'm back to square one.
Yes. Or as Jan does, continues the meeting till 3 in the morning.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you want to achieve next?
Next, my next is to perfect the robot development in buildings and to allow as many people as possible. I'm working on the people solving the problem of narrowing the gap between people who can have homes and people who can't. And the only way you'll do it with robots, and what I want to do is to make sure that there'll be less and less homeless, because I know the experience. It is a not nice thing to be able to, I only lived 10 days, but there are people who are homeless for 10, 20 years, which is absolutely ridiculous. And they don't last long, because they don't have anything. So the idea is to allow people not to be at the exposure of landlords which provide substandard accommodation, to be able to live on something which they own, and for the parents to be able to help the children. They can't afford to give them a deposit, but they can help them with the rent, because they know the rent is actually down payment on the flat or the house. And therefore it brings the communities together. Like in Slovakia, I'm building now communities of 50, 100 houses. I select the purchasers, doctors, engineers, young people with children, so they don't need they don't need a home help or hire a bedsitter. They will look after each other's children because they are neighbors. They all moved at one time. And each time I build a estate, I make sure that it's got a nursery and it's got something which people can share, like a community rooms or whatever it is.
I think
the problem in today's society is that it has totally abandoned communities. And we have to go back and create communities.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think you partially answered this question. Then why can't they solve it now?
Because everybody is following their own agenda. Because everybody is afraid of saying things which everybody knows is happening. We've reached a society where people are afraid to think, and people are afraid to be happy in case they will be unhappy tomorrow. The whole society needs to totally revamp itself and start doing simple things like getting together, going away on holiday together, and enjoying each other's company. But I must say, the younger generation, which I now observe, are much more cautious and are much more sensible than the generation in which I grew up. I must say that the world is somehow going to find their way how to do it. But the basis of a happiness is to have a home which I can live, which I can enjoy, and which I can share with others. And unless that happens, there'll be more homeless, more unhappy people. And that is a recipe for revolution. You know that.
Yeah.
Once you increase the gap between those who have and who haven't, then the revolution will come. Unrest, civil wars.
You can already see the unrest in the UK now, can't you?
Yeah, that's it.
You know, and it is shocking. We had a similar thing in Slovakia a few years ago with people being very upset about things. And I think people should actually be able to say, no, I don't like it. Yes, I do like it. And actually think about what they're doing. And if they can, and if they're in a slightly privileged position, why can't they help other people? I mean, another project. No, wait a minute. There's another project that Jan does, which is just phenomenal, and I bet most people in the UK have no idea whatsoever about this. If a company like Jan's, what are you doing?
Nothing.
You're moving a bit of paper around.
Yeah. Just somebody put a paper, so I've removed it. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. If you want to dispose of computers in the UK, the rules of the game are that you have to pay. At that time, it was about £50 to scrap your computer. Nothing wrong with them. You're just changing them as businesses do. So what he did was he arranged for all these computers to be sent to Slovakia. My team cleaned them up and titivated them up and fettled them, whatever you want to call it. And the best one I've ever seen, and Jan's got the picture of it, was a school in a town called Svitnik, which is close-ish to the Ukraine border. The headmistress had applied for about 6 years to get some computer equipment in her school, where she had 22 students, an assistant teacher, an admin, and a fix-it bloke. They had one XP computer between the lot of them. She went back to Svitnik with 25 free laptops because of Jan. And the woman was absolutely in tears and couldn't believe what had happened and how Jan had made it possible for her to have these computers with a little bit of help from us. But the essence is everything was, I'm telling you now, everything, including the shipping, the computer price, blah, 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 blah. Everything was donated by Jan. And so the schools, and there's a number of them, all got free computers. Do you know what he did during COVID, boys and girls? He got laptops for the kids who couldn't afford to have them in every school in this area. Every school got what was it, Chromebooks, wasn't it, Jan?
Yep.
Chromebooks. And so this is the man who does so much and yet nobody knows about it. And the project called Digital Angels in Slovakia is down to Jan. It's his
but
stuff.
in the Bible it says, when the left hand gives, make sure the right hand doesn't see it.
Yes.
That's what I follow.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, and that was Dubcek, the only thing which is important in life is result method.
Mm-hmm.
A method which brings a result. That's the problem with the society today. They are talking about methods. They are talking about idea. But there are no result behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a theory. It's just an idea. It's just following what people want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But people are fed up. They don't want to hear promises. They want to see action. They want to see the promise to be turned into a real thing.
Yeah, and Jan's absolutely right. And the opposite of that is, and I'll save his blushes, a high street name singer. Well known, played on radio stations. I'm absolutely sure somewhere in the UK every day will be playing one of his tracks. He went into the same pub that we went into, and he walked in and he says, oh, I haven't got any money, people. Can somebody buy me a gin and tonic because I gave 50,000 to charity today? That's not the way to do it. That's completely the opposite way of what you should be doing. And, oh, actually, Jan, this is one of the best shows ever. More like this, but don't eat crisps on the air. That was paper. That wasn't crisps. Jan wasn't eating crisps because if he was eating crisps, his wife would chastise him. He's not.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I was removing a package which somebody put on my table, and I thought, well, Eric is talking, so I used the time to put it into the drawer. That's all. So you can see, I multitask. I can do many things. I can think about one thing. I speak several languages, so I can think in one language, speak to the other one, do something. I multitask. I like multitasking.
Right, I've got one last question for you, which is completely unrelated, but I think it's valid in the conversation we're having. If somebody's listening right now, and I know that some of the people listening are trying to start businesses up, what advice would you give them?
Well, any business is like shares. I'm, for instance, developing a program. I've just been at the House of Lords. I've got another company, which is MX Reality. So I'm developing an AI person, which you as a young person can say, I would like to talk to somebody called Joe. So I created Joe. And what happens is, most of the people don't know what they want to do, but worse, they don't know what they are capable of being good at.
Yep.
So I'm developing a virtual reality person with whom you have a conversation. And after 2 hours, that AI person will be able to tell you what would be the best thing for you to do, which you will succeed. Now, I never thought I would be a businessman. I never thought I would be a good salesman because I was a musician. I liked books. I was very quiet. But then one day, I realized I can communicate well with people and I can understand the way they think. And since then, I've never looked back. So the idea of being successful, you have to find a way, what you enjoy doing. I tell people, if you are working and you hate your job, there's nothing worse earning a living in a job which you hate. Find something or find a way how you will make enjoying it. Mm-hmm. Find a way how you can dress it up. Find the PMA, the positive mental attitude. See, I never complain. Because if I start complaining, what am I doing?
Hang on a minute.
Saying to people, I can't handle the problem.
I've just had a message on the other screen from Terry. Says, don't forget about all the laptops he donated to schools in the UK. There you go.
Yeah, of course, I did. Yeah, we gave a lot of. But you see, the secret also, it's like buying shares. You don't want to be buying shares to make money. You want to be buying shares which you are able to sell. Because if you buy a share in a company which is nowhere and you make 300% profit, nobody's going to buy it because it's made 300%. What's the chance of making another 100%?
None.
So whatever you do in life, you have to be able to benefit. Other people benefited by it, but also you will be able to cash it, to be able to liquidate it, to be able to get. Like I own several businesses, and every business I own, somebody comes to buy it, and the price is right, I sell it. Because if I say it'll be worth more and more, eventually I might not sell it for nothing. So the idea is in the SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. Strength, you can be stronger, or you could be weaker, but threat remains. The only thing which changes is opportunity. And most people are concerned with strength and weakness and threat, and they forgot to take the opportunity, because opportunity is the one who never lasts. It comes and goes.
Yep.
And people, see, I'm 77, and people, when they reach that age, they've made a mistake, so they are upset about it. They are afraid to think because they might think I make more mistake, and they stop living. And at that age, an opportunity of a lifetime could come, and they miss it.
Yeah.
So you have to keep always positive attitude, and the way you solve your problem is share it with others, give something away, help somebody. That's the best psychotherapy you could possibly have.
The comment is, my biggest complaint of this show is it isn't long enough. Encore. No,
There you go. Thank you very much.
That's nice.
And remember, I'm talking to you as a person who couldn't go home for 20 years, has met his parents for 15, and started as a homeless. Now, if I can, and I couldn't speak the language, so if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, and the other thing that I've just remembered is your support of the Duke of Wellington's regiment as well.
Well, I published all the books. I participated on his monument, and on the 18th of June, Waterloo Day, I threw a big party for all the retired soldiers. Of course, we have a Duke of Wellington. We drink Chateauneuf du Pape, and we celebrated this great man who had the same virtue. He always made the impossible possible. He always had fantastic relationship with his soldiers, and he was the only one who in the end defeated Napoleon Bonaparte. And the only way he did it at Waterloo is because at Battle of Leipzig he found his personal belongings when he lost, and in there was a translation into French of Art of War by Sun Tzu. And when he read it, he realized Napoleon fought all the battles according to the rule of Sun Tzu. So he copied it, and Waterloo was a copy of Austerlitz, so he defeated Napoleon by his own weapon.
I've got
that's how he won it.
A couple of other comments, and then one final question. Axel says, have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Keep up the amazing work, Jan. RTI rocks. And the final question for you. Are your family, Jan, involved in the business?
No. Because the best way to break up a family, it's very exceptional where the family could be involved in the business. Need special people. And I separate my life, my family life and my business, and I don't mix it. I have a wonderful wife. I have a wonderful son who just completed UCL master degree in business. I let him work in a different company for 2 years. I want him to learn business politics. I want him to fail. I want him to learn how to get up and start again. And after 2 years, I'll put him in my business. But I want him to suffer a little bit, to learn the real experience of life. Because life is all about starting from zero and building it up, and about tolerance and about trying to help those who need it. That's what it's all about. I can put my life philosophy on a back side, on the back of a postage stamp. It's very simple.
Go on.
There you go.
There you go.
So,
enjoyed listening to this conversation, says Ian. And also, can you come back again soon and come back when the film is ready, please?
yeah, they are doing it as we speak.
There you go. Jan, thank you. I kind of nobbled him for about 30 minutes, and I've managed to nab him for an hour. It's a great pleasure, and I'm so proud that I know somebody that's got the Alexander Dubcek Award, and I have to say, it's justly deserved, and it's about time you get a few more of them. So well done, mate.
I'm very proud to receive it because it's, to me, that's the reward I will cherish most of all. He was a great man, and without him, I owe him more than you can think, because he was the one who kept me alive, and his teaching and his philosophy made me successful. And I wish most people would follow what he started. There you go.
Nobel Peace Prize next, and make him a lord. He already is a lord. He is a lord. He is Lord.
Not the Randolph Prize yet.
Lord Jan Telensky of Sealand. There you go. Jan, million thanks again. We got to go because Steve's waiting in the wings to bring the next programme to us.
Have a great time and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, sir, and to you. Take care. Cheers, Jan. That was Dr. Jan Telensky, who won that amazing award this week. And we thank him for his time. And we will play out with some more Axel.